Some animals can survive without water, endure months without oxygen, and even rebuild organs they deliberately throw away. Others fire boiling chemicals, shoot blood from their eyes, or remain alive after losing their heads. These survival abilities sound more like science fiction than nature, but every one of them is real. So get ready, because here are 7 animal survival facts that sound impossible, but are 100% true. An African lungfish can survive 4 years buried in dry mud. When rivers and pools disappear in a drought, the fish digs into the soft ground before it completely hardens. Then it curls its body into a tight position and covers itself in thick mucus. That mucus dries into a protective cocoon, helping the lungfish retain moisture while leaving a small opening for air. Inside, the fish enters a state called estivation. Its metabolism slows dramatically. It stops eating, barely moves, and survives by carefully using energy stored inside its own body. Because lungfish can breathe air using lungs, they do not need to remain underwater like most fish. They can stay sealed inside this underground chamber for months and, in exceptional cases, for several years. From the surface, the ground may look completely dry and lifeless, but beneath it, a living fish is waiting. When rain finally returns and softens the mud, the cocoon breaks apart. The lungfish wakes, wriggles free, and returns to the newly flooded water. A fish surviving underground through years of drought. Sounds unbelievable, but it is absolutely true. Kangaroo rats can survive without drinking water. These tiny desert rodents live in some of the hottest, driest parts of North America, where pools and streams may be almost impossible to find. Instead of taking a drink, they get the moisture they need from the dry seeds they eat. As those seeds are digested, the kangaroo rat's body produces a small amount of metabolic water. But producing water is only half the challenge. It must also avoid losing it. Its kidneys create extremely concentrated urine, and its droppings contain very little moisture. Special passages inside its nose cool the air it breathes out, allowing some water vapor to condense and return to the body. During the hottest part of the day, the kangaroo rat stays inside a cool underground burrow. It usually comes out at night, when temperatures are lower, to collect seeds. It carries them home inside fur-lined cheek pouches, which keep the food separate from its mouth. Its powerful back legs also help it leap away from snakes, owls, and other predators. Every part of its life is designed for survival in a place where water is incredibly scarce. A small mammal living in the desert without taking a single drink. Sounds unbelievable, but it is absolutely true. Horned lizards can shoot blood from their eyes. These small reptiles live in dry parts of North and Central America, where their colors help them disappear against sand and rocks. When danger approaches, they usually try less dramatic defenses first. They may freeze completely still, flatten themselves against the ground, or inflate their bodies, so their sharp horns become difficult to swallow. But if a predator keeps coming, some horned lizards reveal their strangest weapon. They increase the pressure inside blood-filled spaces around their eyes. Tiny blood vessels then rupture, forcing a stream of blood from the corners of the eyes. The spray can travel nearly 1 meter. It may startle and confuse an attacker, giving the lizard time to escape. But against coyotes, foxes, and other canine predators, it has another advantage. Chemicals in the blood create an extremely unpleasant taste, often making the predator release the lizard immediately. The animal can even aim the spray towards the attacker's face. a lizard defending itself by firing blood from its eyes. Sounds unbelievable, but it is absolutely true. Painted turtles can survive 4 months without oxygen. During winter, ponds can freeze completely across the surface, trapping these turtles beneath the ice. They cannot swim up for air, so they settle into the cold water or mud and wait for spring. As the temperature falls, their metabolism slows dramatically. Their hearts continue beating extremely slowly, while their bodies use only a fraction of the energy they would need during warmer months. Eventually, the surrounding water may contain almost no oxygen at all. The turtles then produce energy without oxygen through a process called anaerobic metabolism. But this creates a dangerous problem. Lactic acid begins building up inside their bodies and could eventually become fatal. This is where the shell becomes more than simple armor. It releases minerals, including calcium and magnesium carbonates, which help neutralize the acid. The shell can also absorb and store some of the lactate. Combined with their extremely slow metabolism, this allows painted turtles to survive in oxygen-free water for several months. When spring finally melts the ice, they rise to the surface and breed normally again. A turtle spending an entire winter underwater without oxygen. Sounds unbelievable, but it is absolutely true. Bombardier beetles fire near boiling chemicals at their enemies. These small ground beetles may look harmless, but when a predator attacks, they turn the tip of their abdomen towards the threat. Inside the beetle are separate reservoirs containing hydrogen peroxide and hydroquinones. When danger arrives, the chemicals are released into a reinforced reaction chamber and mixed with special enzymes. The reaction happens almost instantly. It generates intense heat, pressure, and irritating chemicals called quinones. The beetle then blasts the mixture from its abdomen in a rapid series of pulses. In some species, the spray can approach 100 degrees Celsius. It can burn, stain, and overwhelm attacking ants, frogs, spiders, and other predators. The beetle can also swivel the end of its abdomen, helping it aim the spray in different directions, even towards an attacker climbing onto its back. A valve controls the reaction chamber, allowing pressure to build and release repeatedly without destroying the beetle itself. To a predator, it is like being hit by a tiny chemical cannon. A beetle firing a precisely aimed, near-boiling chemical weapon. Sounds unbelievable, but it is absolutely true. Some sea cucumbers can eject their own internal organs to survive an attack. These strange animals live on the ocean floor, moving slowly across sand and coral, while feeding on tiny particles of organic material. Because they cannot run or swim away quickly, they rely on some extraordinary defensive tricks. When threatened, certain species contract their bodies violently and expel parts of their digestive system through an opening at the rear. Other species release long, sticky structures called Cuvierian tubules. These tangled threads can stretch across a predator, trapping it or covering it in irritating chemicals. The sudden release may shock and distract fish, crabs, or other attackers, giving the sea cucumber time to escape. Losing internal organs sounds fatal, but the animal can survive the process. Over the following weeks, specialized cells begin rebuilding the missing tissue. The digestive system slowly forms again, allowing the sea cucumber to return to feeding normally. It is an extreme defense, sacrificing part of its own body to avoid being eaten. An animal throwing out its organs and then growing them back. Sounds unbelievable, but it is absolutely true. A cockroach can remain alive 4 days after losing its head. Unlike humans, cockroaches do not rely on their heads to control every essential function in the body. They have an open circulatory system, so losing the head does not cause the same catastrophic blood loss as would in a mammal. Their neck can quickly seal, preventing most of their body fluid from escaping. Cockroaches also do not breathe through their mouths. Instead, air enters through tiny openings called spiracles along the sides of their bodies. Oxygen then travels through a network of tubes directly to their tissues. Without its head, the cockroach can still stand, move and react to touch, because clusters of nerve cells throughout its body control any basic movements. But it cannot eat or drink. Eventually, it dies mainly from dehydration rather than from the loss of its head itself. Even the separated head may continue moving its antennae for a short time. An animal surviving 4 days without its head. Sounds unbelievable. But it is absolutely true.